It's right here. It's Michael Patrick Shiels, and it's a test of leadership. Needless to say that maybe nobody ever could have anticipated. Tony Daunt is the executive director of the Michigan Freedom Fund. He's on our AT&T line right this very moment. Welcome back to the program, sir.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me today.
The governor is going to give an update this morning, and I'm not sure what it will be. We don't really know yet what it will be, but as you look back at the previous updates and the previous handling of the situation, what do you make of it?
Well, you touched on a little bit that I don't think anybody could have ever foreseen something like this, hitting us. It's one of those things we all see in movies and think, oh, that'll never happen. We comfort ourselves with that kind of delusional thinking, but here we are. And, at the Freedom Fund, we've decided to take a pause on the political stuff because now is not the time. And I think overall, the governor, the majority leader, and the speaker have done really good work communicating with the public, making very difficult decisions on a very quick timeline. And, I think they deserve to be commended for that. The one thing I will say, just a bit of criticism would be, the governor has had spent some time criticizing the president and the response from the federal government. And, maybe some of that is warranted. But then the news comes out yesterday that she hadn't sent a request for FEMA relief. And that's the reason you don't engage in political kind of finger pointing right now, because in a time like this, there are going to be decisions that have to be made and mistakes that are made. And if you're casting stones around, they're going to boomerang back and hit you. And so that would be a piece of criticism I have. But other than that, I think they've done remarkable work. I'm sure that this weighs heavily on everybody, in government and in leadership. And it's a stressful time. So, we're providing deference and respect and prayers that this will pass.
There seems to be a question that's talked about at every level, including Governor Whitmer and Vice President Pence and President Trump, and that comes down to saving lives versus saving the economy. The governor is scoffing at the president's talk about churches being packed on Easter, and she said she's going to take her advice from Dr. Fauci, not anybody else. And so when you get to that question, this idea that the president says it would be beautiful to reopen the U.S. economy on Easter Sunday, what is your reaction in terms of, is he being a cheerleader? Is he being hopeful? I mean, he doesn't seem to have any science to back that up, and that's where the debate seems to be going at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that that everybody should be hopeful and thinking positively and seeing how we can get back to normal or some semblance of normal as quickly as possible. But we should be thinking about both public health and economic decisions and consequences, and they're not mutually exclusive. If we don't have a healthy public, then the economy is going to tank anyways. And I think these are really tough things that people are having to do for small businesses in particular, and some of these businesses with relatively small margins to begin with. This is going to cripple a number of them permanently, and that's a tragedy. But if we had let this virus run unmitigated, it would have led to the same type of crisis because people would have stayed home just to protect themselves, and we would have had a healthcare system that was unable to take care of not just people with the coronavirus, but people normal everyday problems, car accidents, what have you. People that have to have treatment for cancer, and again, this is happening so quickly. It seems like it's been 2 months now, but it's really only been 8 days, 9 days since all of this really hit the fan. And so I think it's very good to be positive, to be thinking about how do we restart things. But we need to be looking at it from a all around aspect of public health leads to a good economy, and certainly we don't want the economy to go down so far and tank so hard that when we do get back to normal, there's no jobs left for people, and we continue that public health crisis because people don't have work and the crisis and the mental issues that come with that.
Yeah, I wonder if we're past that point already. Some people say that we are. I don't know. It's also weird that it's happening in a presidential election year, Tony Daunt, with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, there is a lot to be discovered here, or to be handled here, and we're all kind of going about this for the first time, and I hope they continue to do what they've been doing and look for transparency and accountability moving forward.
Michigan Freedom Fund, Tony Daunt. You can stay in touch. Google them, and you'll get his update every week, The Front Lines of Freedom. And it's a very sensible response. Thank you very much, sir. Our microphones are yours. Let us know what you see along the way.